Have you ever felt like there's just a constant buzz of noise inside your head? A million different thoughts pulling you in all these different directions at once? Well, today we're going to dive right into that inner turmoil. And we're going to do it by zooming all the way in on its smallest building block, a single thought, and then we'll follow its incredible and sometimes pretty destructive journey. Now, everything we're about to explore today comes from the really profound insights in Om Swami's book, A Million Thoughts. This is going to be our guide for understanding the beast we call the mind.
So, to kick things off, the book uses this incredibly powerful metaphor that really sets the stage for everything else. It's a parable that gets right to the heart of the conflict we all feel inside, that struggle between who we really are and who we've been told we're supposed to be. All right, so picture this, a lion cub, orphaned right at birth. It's found and brought to a farm, and it's raised not by other lions, but in the gentle, kind of timid company of a herd of goats.
So this little lion cub grows up eating grass, just like its goat family. It doesn't roar, it learns to bleat. It lives with all the same fears as the goats, totally and completely clueless about the massive power it has coiled up inside. It literally forgets its own nature.
And then, one day, it sees its reflection in a pool of water, right next to a full-grown, majestic lion. And for the first time, it hears a real earth-shaking roar. In that one single moment, bam, everything clicks. The goat behavior just melts away, and it awakens to the king of the jungle it was always meant to be.
And this is where the story hits home, right? The book's point is that we are all lions. We're born with this fearless, blissful nature. But from the second we're born, our family, society, our experiences, they all start telling us who we should be. They teach us to think and act like goats. And that whole process, that's called conditioning.
So this conditioning, this inner goat-lion conflict, what does it actually feel like day to day? Well, it creates what the book calls a scattered mind. And that leads to this constant feeling of restless dissatisfaction that I think pretty much all of us can relate to. There's this amazing legend in the book that gets right to the heart of this. The first yogi, Shiva, is asked a simple question. Why are people so unhappy, even when it seems like they have everything they could possibly need? And his answer? It's incredibly simple, but so profound. He explains that we suffer because we are scattered. You know how it is. Our thoughts are pulling us in one direction, maybe towards some creative passion. But our actions, they're pulling us in a totally different direction, maybe a job we can't stand. And the whole time, our heart is just longing for something else entirely, maybe peace or connection. This complete lack of alignment, this inner disharmony, that's the real source of our restlessness. Okay, so to figure out how to find that inner alignment and calm our scattered minds, we've got to go smaller, like way smaller. We have to zoom in on the most basic particle of our entire mental universe. We need to understand the life of one single thought. And just think about the sheer volume we're dealing with here. The average human mind cooks up more than 60,000 thoughts every single day. I mean, no wonder it feels like a chaotic traffic jam in there, right? And most of them are totally random, fleeting, and just unimportant. And here's the wild part. The book explains that if you just leave a thought alone, its life cycle is super brief and totally neutral. It just emerges into existence, it kind of hangs there for a second, and then poof, it vanishes. It's like a bubble in water, and that's it. So, that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If every single thought is basically designed to self-destruct, to just disappear on its own, then why do we get so tangled up in them? How do they have the power to cause us so much pain? Well, the trouble starts the moment we interfere. It's when we refuse to let that thought just finish its natural life. Instead, we grab onto it, we hold it, and that's when a really dangerous transformation begins. And to explain this, the book brings in another incredible metaphor. It's the story of a demon named Raktabija. Now, this demon's power was just terrifying. Every time he was wounded, every single drop of his blood that hit the ground would instantly spring up into 1,000 brand new demons, all identical to him. I think you can see where this is going, right? Raktabija is the perfect symbol for desire. You fulfill one desire, but it doesn't bring peace. It just gives birth to 1,000 more. And trying to suppress it, that's like attacking the demon. It just makes the problem multiply. The only way to win is to be mindful, to catch that desire when it's still just a tiny, fleeting thought, before it ever gets the chance to become a drop of blood. And these desires, which are all born from thoughts, they come in different flavors. You've got physical desires for the senses, like food or comfort. Then there are emotional desires for things like love and recognition. Those are usually driven by our conditioning. Intellectual desires are about creating or discovering something meaningful. And finally, there's the transcendental desire, that deep search for truth. But the crucial thing to remember is,
But hold on, the journey isn't over yet. A thought can go through one last transformation, and it morphs into the single heaviest burden we can possibly carry: expectation.
the book gives this brilliantly simple example to show the difference. A desire is thinking, I would love a nice home-cooked meal tonight. It's just a wish, a preference. But an expectation, that's different. That's, I work hard all day. I deserve a nice home-cooked meal tonight. You hear that shift? That little edge of entitlement? So that's it, right there. An expectation is just a desire with a sense of right attached to it. We feel like we're owed something. And the book argues that this one, seemingly small shift is the #1 cause of our grief and stress. It turns a light wish into this heavy, fragile demand. Phew. Okay, so after all of that, the conditioning, the scattered mind, desires popping up everywhere, expectations weighing us down, where do we go from here? Well, the good news is the book offers a very clear path to navigate this inner maze and find our way back to our true nature. The solution it proposes is actually beautifully simple: meditation. But it's not framed as some difficult, rigid exercise. Instead, it's presented as a return. It's the journey back to your source, back to your true self, back to who you were before the world started telling you who to be. It's just going home.
And that brings us full circle, right back to our lion. We've seen how a powerful, magnificent nature can be conditioned into believing it's small and weak. So the final question isn't for me to answer. It's really for you to reflect on. Your inner lion has been living like a goat. How will you reawaken it?